Welcome to Media Spectrum, where stories still matter. Today we will be reviewing Friendship, starring Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. In this review, by the way, today we will have full spoilers. I just can't talk about my thoughts about this movie without going into it, so full spoiler warning going forward. Okay? Okay. Now, this was a movie that had been on my radar for a while. I know of Tim Robinson, but I've never really seen his work before. I've seen little clips online, I've seen memes with him.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
But I've never actually sat down and watched any of his shows before, so I wasn't really that familiar with his style of comedy. But when this movie came out, the trailers for it looked interesting. It looked like a setup I might enjoy. And I heard a lot of comparisons to The Cable Guy, which is a movie I really appreciate. And let's say if I get 10 likes on this video, I'll go back and review that one, because that's a movie worth talking about for sure. But with this film, I gotta be honest, for a movie that advertises itself as a comedy, I barely laughed at all. There were a couple of scenes where I got some good, awkward laughs out of. And the thing is, when I laughed really hard. Like when it comes to the sheer absurdity of the Toad scene, for example. When it comes to the end of that horribly awkward kind of not group date, the horribly awkward group hangout that ends with Craig literally putting soap in his mouth, like punishing himself like a little kid.
I know my punishment. I messed up. I'm a bad boy. I'm sorry. What did I do? What did I do?
Like, there are so many just layers of trauma baked into that action that I couldn't help but laugh at it, because it's just a sheer what the fuck am I actually watching type moment. And after this movie, I went back, educated myself a little more on Tim Robinson's style of comedy. In fact, I have a better grasp on it now, and he's always aiming for like the most awkward, cringe-inducing type laugh as possible. And so I could see watching this movie with some friends who are more familiar with it in the right setting, having it be a lot funnier. But watching it by myself, watching it not really that familiar with this style of comedy, I just sat there in fucking horror for almost this whole movie. Because it is so incredibly, painfully awkward. And the thing that I feel is different about this versus at least the handful of shorts I've seen from his other sketch work is that in his sketch work, it's always very clear that Tim Robinson is like the butt of the joke. He's the guy you're supposed to be laughing at.
Someone drove a hot dog-shaped car through the window.
Driver's gone. Somebody call the cops. We need to find that driver.
They could have killed someone.
Whose car is this?
Yeah, come on. Whoever did this, just confess. We promise we won't be mad.
What?
We'll close our eyes, just take your car and get out of here.
Sir, that's clearly your car.
Wrong.
But in this movie, yeah, he's a horribly awkward guy who clearly has some kind of toxic traits, but everyone else around him is also toxic. And so it makes it really hard to know at times, am I supposed to be laughing at him? Am I supposed to be laughing at the other people around him? Am I supposed to just be feeling bad for this guy? Because that was what I felt most of the time. I don't know if this is saying more about how antisocial I've become over the years, but I just repeatedly felt bad for this guy. Think about it. He's got his wife who, yeah, he's not doing the best job attending to her needs. For sure, he should be a more dutiful husband. But at the same time, she's basically openly cheating on him with her ex and possibly their son. Like, what the fuck is with the open mouth kiss between her and their biological son? Like, what is that even?
Never underestimate the nacho. Yummy. Oh, good work. Mwah. Delicious, huh? Anyway, I gotta go. But I love you.
Have
See you later.
fun.
Thank you.
You guys kiss each other on the lips?
I'm from the West Coast. I'm pretty open-minded, and I've never seen shit like that. What
The fuck? What the fuck?
is this supposed to be, Alabama or something? Like, what's going on here? It is just so bizarre. And then you see his interactions with people throughout the whole movie, and just everyone he deals with is kind of awful in different ways. Like I mentioned that horribly awkward scene where he puts the soap in his mouth, but what precedes that is this scene where he and Paul Rudd surrounded by all these other new guys, are having kind of a playful boxing match. And Tim Robinson's character, Craig, immediately says, hey, don't punch me in the face. And what does Paul Rudd do? He immediately punches him in the fucking face. And then afterwards, when it's clear he punched him a little too hard, and he's saying, hey, let's both try to be a little more safe with each other. After a couple more body punches, again, he punches him square in the fucking face. And so then, yeah, he sucker punches him after that. But I mean, did Paul Rudd's character not earn a sucker punch by that point? You know? Or one of the big things throughout the movie is he constantly is bringing up, oh, there's a new Marvel movie out, I've heard it's crazy, no spoilers, please. And as soon as he says that, whether it's with his family, whether it's with his coworkers, whoever, they immediately start trying to go into spoilers immediately after he asks for no spoilers. You know, it's just all kinds of little things like this throughout the movie where it's like, okay, who is the bad person here? Like, who are we supposed to be rooting for? Who are we supposed to be laughing at? Because, yeah, he's incredibly awkward and he's not doing a good job of interacting with these people, but these people seem like garbage. Again, I just constantly, throughout this movie, I'm in places where I just feel bad because it's like, who am I even supposed to be rooting for? Am I supposed to be rooting for him to continue with this friendship? So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if this is saying more about myself and how antisocial I've become. I don't know if there's something in the writing I just don't get. I don't know if the whole joke is just like, oh yeah, everyone's awful, let's just laugh at how awful people are. It doesn't feel like it's supposed to be that nihilistic, but I don't really know what else to make of it. I will say, on just like a pure kind of craft storytelling level, I really liked that the friendship begins and breaks up so quickly. Within the first third of the movie, he meets his new neighbor, Paul Rudd, this charming weather guy. There's a package delivered to Craig's house on accident, so he brings it over to him. They befriend each other. They have this horribly awkward hangout. Their friendship dissolves. And that's like the first third of the movie. And so the point of their friendship breaking in some way, I knew was going to come around eventually. But I thought that would be like the end of the second act, not the end of the first act. And so when that happened, I was kind of in a state of, okay, what's going to happen next? And we just see him fall apart and break down, and things just keep getting more awkward and more awkward and more awkward as he's trying to figure out what to do. I also was really kind of curious early on when we first meet Paul Rudd's character. I wasn't really sure which of these guys was going to be the bigger weirdo, because yeah, Tim Robinson's Craig is super introverted and awkward and weird, but then Paul Rudd's weatherman, he's kind of a wild card in his own way. You know, he introduces this guy very quickly. He's sneaking him through the sewers to City Hall just to show him the city. That's not normal. Like, neither of these guys are normal. It's just that Paul Rudd is weird in a much more friendly, extroverted, social way, whereas Craig is not normal in a much more introverted way. And so it kind of makes sense that there's a weird chemistry between them. And it did make it very interesting the first time, where I was half expecting that Paul Rudd was going to be the really crazy one, and that Tim Robinson's Craig would realize he was better off alone, but that's not really the way we went with this movie. So in the end, this is a movie that did get a couple laughs out of me. The weird thing is, I liked Tim Robinson's style overall. Going back to this, I am curious about his other work. I want to see him do more. But from this movie, I just felt like I was missing something the whole time. And I can't remember the last time I watched a comedy that made me feel this bad by the end of it. I do like that it ends on this weirdly hopeful note where it seems like they might still be friends after all this on some level, or at least that he's earned his respect on some level. But yeah, it's just watching a horribly awkward guy interacting with a bunch of awful people, and I don't know what I'm even supposed to want to happen by the end of this. So anyway, sorry if my thoughts are a little scattered on this one. It's just such a strange movie. I've heard it's very loved or hated, so maybe I'm just not the audience for it. I don't know. If you felt differently about this movie, if there's something you saw in it that I'm missing, let me know down below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Until then, stay sane, stay human.